My fiancée demanded an open relationship 2 weeks before our wedding, and her mom, a social media influencer, is now trying to destroy me online. So I'm Ethan, 29, and my life is a dumpster fire right now. I'm the middle child, always the responsible one, while my siblings are off being successful and making my parents proud. There's this unspoken pressure to, catch up. I thought I had it all figured out. Good job, nice house, about to get married. Turns out I was dead wrong. Now I'm facing a canceled wedding, thousands of dollars down the drain, and a social media smear campaign. And it all started with a simple question from my soon-to-be wife. Should I just cave and let them walk all over me? Reddit, what the hell do I do? 2 weeks before the wedding, Chloe and I were supposed to be finalizing the seating chart. Instead, she's staring at me across the kitchen table, twisting a strand of hair around her finger, looking nervous. Which is weird, Chloe's never nervous. We need to talk, she says, and my stomach does this weird flip-flop thing. I'd been having a stressful week at work, so I figured it was about the caterer or something. Boy, was I wrong. I've been doing a lot of thinking, she starts, and I swear I can hear the gears grinding in her head. About us, about marriage, about expectations. She takes a deep breath and I'm thinking, here we go, she's gonna want to elope. Nope, I think we should consider an open relationship. The words hang in the air like a bad smell. My fork clatters to the plate. I'm sorry, what? I ask because I must have misheard her. This is Chloe, my Chloe, the girl who made a Pinterest board for our future golden retriever. Open relationship. Where did that come from? She starts talking about exploring and freedom and modern love. All I can hear is static. My ears are ringing. I feel like I'm going to throw up. An open relationship. 2 weeks before our wedding. My vision tunnels, and I can feel the blood draining from my face. I manage to stammer out, are you serious? And she says, completely serious, yes, Ethan, I think it's important for us to be honest with each other about our needs. Honest, I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I literally had to grip the edge of the table to keep from falling out of my chair. The room started spinning. Our needs, I repeated, the words feeling foreign in my mouth. Your need is to sleep with other people 2 weeks before we say I do. She actually rolled her eyes. Rolled her, EYES. Don't be dramatic, Ethan, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal, I felt like screaming. My entire world was tilting on its axis and she's telling me it's not a big deal. This wasn't just a disagreement, it felt like a betrayal. A violation of everything we'd built together. I was blindsided. Completely blindsided. I stumbled out of the kitchen, mumbling something about needing air. I locked myself in the bathroom and dry heaved over the toilet. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely unlock my phone to text Liam. Dude, I think my wedding is off. So I finally managed to pull myself together and talk to Chloe again. I thought maybe, just maybe, she'd had some time to think about how insane her request was and would, apologize. Ha. I was so naive. I sat her down, explained how her suggestion made me feel betrayed, hurt, confused. I told her that an open relationship wasn't something I could ever be comfortable with, that it went against everything I believed in. That marriage for me meant commitment, exclusivity, trust. Basic stuff, right? Apparently not for Chloe too. She just stared at me, this blank expression on her face, like I was speaking a foreign language. Then she sighed this long, dramatic sigh and said, Ethan, you're being so traditional. Like it was a dirty word. Traditional, my jaw clenched. Traditional, you want to sleep with other people 2 weeks before our wedding and I'm the one being traditional. I could feel my voice rising, but I couldn't help it. The sheer audacity of it all was making my blood boil. And then she drops this bomb. Maybe you're just insecure, Ethan. Maybe you're not confident you can satisfy me. Satisfy her, like this was some kind of competition. Like my worth as a partner was suddenly being measured by my willingness to let her sleep around. I saw red. I literally felt the heat rising in my face. My hands started shaking again. Insecure. I practically yelled, you're the one who wants to bring other people into our relationship. You're the one who can't commit. How dare you try to twist this around and make it my fault? That's when her mother, Patricia, yes, that Patricia, the lifestyle guru with 500K followers, waltzed in. Like she'd been eavesdropping the whole time. Which, knowing her, she probably was. Without missing a beat, she puts her arm around Chloe and says, all sweet and condescending, honey, you deserve someone who's open-minded and evolved, someone who understands modern relationships. EVOLVED. She actually used the word EVOLVED, like I was some Neanderthal for wanting a monogamous marriage. At that moment, I realized this wasn't just about Chloe anymore. This was a tag team effort. they were ganging up on me. Gaslighting me, making me question my own sanity. My chest felt tight, I couldn't breathe. I stood up abruptly, knocking over my chair. The clatter echoed in the sudden silence. I looked from Chloe to her mother, my vision blurring with anger and disbelief. This wasn't normal. This wasn't a disagreement. This was toxic. I mumbled something about needing to leave and practically ran out of the house. I didn't even look back. I just needed to get out, to escape. I'm sitting in my car now, shaking, trying to process what the hell just happened. They're trying to make me the bad guy. They're trying to rewrite the narrative. And the worst part is I can see it working. Chloe's mom is already spinning the story on social media, painting me as some controlling, insecure jerk. I'm screwed. Absolutely screwed. A week later, and things have gone from dumpster fire to nuclear meltdown. I thought Chloe's mom's cryptic social media posts were bad, but I hadn't seen anything yet. Apparently, Patricia's followers, flying monkeys, have taken it upon themselves to become judge, jury, and executioner of my character. My social media is blowing up with hate messages. Strangers are calling me names, accusing me of being everything from a closeted homosexual to a controlling abuser. Someone even PHOTOSHOPPDMY face onto a picture of a caveman. I'm getting death threats for God's sake. Death THRATS, over wanting a monogamous marriage. What the actual hell? As if that wasn't enough, Chloe's family has gotten involved. Her aunt, who I've met maybe twice, wrote a blog post about how I stole Chloe's best years, and how she's always known I wasn't good enough for her. Her cousin, who I've literally never met, is commenting on all my old Instagram photos with things like, "You'll never find anyone as good as Chloe," and "Good riddance, loser." They're acting like I'm the one who cheated. It's surreal. Like I've stepped into some bizarre alternate reality where up is down and black is white. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can barely function. I've taken time off work, but even at home, I feel like I'm being constantly watched, judged, condemned. Every notification on my phone sends a jolt of anxiety through me. I feel like I'm suffocating. This morning, my own mother called me crying. Not because she's worried about me, but because Chloe's mom called her and told her I was a manipulative narcissist who drove her poor daughter to this. My own mother, I swear I almost lost it. "Mom," I said, my voice shaking, "do you honestly believe that, after everything?" There was a long pause. Then in a small voice she said, "Well, dear," Patricia said. That's when I snapped. "Patricia is a lying, manipulative, social media-obsessed witch," I yelled. "She's trying to destroy me, and you're letting her." I hung up the phone and threw it across the room. The screen cracked. I didn't care. I'm sitting here now, staring at the broken phone, feeling completely and utterly alone. This isn't just about Chloe anymore. This is about my entire life, my family, my reputation, everything. I can't let them win. I can't let them rewrite the narrative and make me the villain. I need to fight back. I need to take action. But how? I'm drowning in a sea of lies and manipulation, and I don't know how to get out. Reddit, I'm begging you, what do I do? I'm desperate. I finally broke down and told Liam everything. It wasn't easy. At first, I just kind of mumbled something about Chloe being difficult and the wedding being stressful. I didn't want to admit how badly she'd blindsided me, how utterly humiliated I felt. But Liam, he's like a bloodhound. He could smell something was seriously wrong. He kept pushing gently until I finally spilled the whole sordid story. The open relationship demand, the gaslighting, Patricia's social media smear campaign, the flying MONKEYS, the death threats, everything. I'll never forget the look on his face. His jaw dropped. He stared at me, eyes wide, like I'd grown a second head. "Dude," he finally said, his voice barely a whisper, "are you serious? She actually asked you that, 2 weeks before the wedding." I just nodded, feeling this wave of shame wash over me, like I was somehow to blame for all of this. Liam slammed his fist on the table, making me jump. "That's insane. Absolutely batshit crazy. What the hell is wrong with her? And her mother? They're both nuts." Hearing him say that, hearing someone else validate my feelings, it was like a dam broke inside me. Tears started streaming down my face. Ugly, heaving sobs. I hadn't cried this hard since I was a kid. I felt like I was finally allowed to feel the pain, the betrayal, the anger that I'd been bottling up for weeks. Liam just sat there, quietly, letting me get it all out. He didn't try to offer solutions or platitudes. He just listened, and that in itself was more helpful than anything. He didn't try to downplay it or tell me I was overreacting. He didn't question my feelings, he just understood. When I finally calmed down, he looked at me, his expression serious. "Ethan," he said, "you need to get out of this. Now, this isn't a normal disagreement. This is toxic. They're trying to manipulate you, to control you, to destroy you. You can't let them win. He told me about his aunt who'd been pressured into an open marriage. It imploded within a year, leaving her devastated and emotionally scarred. Don't make the same mistake, man, he said. Your happiness matters. Your values matter. Don't sacrifice them for someone who clearly doesn't respect you. His words hit me like a ton of bricks. He was right. I'd been so focused on pleasing everyone else, Chloe, my family, even Patricia, that I'd completely forgotten about myself. My own needs, my own happiness. I'd been so terrified of disappointing everyone that I'd let them walk all over me. For the first time since this whole nightmare began, I felt a flicker of hope. A spark of anger, too, not directed at myself but at them. At Chloe, at Patricia. At their twisted, manipulative games. I wasn't a victim, I was a survivor, and I wasn't going to let them win. Liam's words were a turning point. They gave me the strength and clarity I needed to see the situation for what it was, a toxic mess that I needed to escape. It was time to stop playing their game. It was time to fight back. That's when the real kick in the teeth landed. I was scrolling through Instagram, trying to avoid all the hate comments when I saw it. Patricia, Chloe's mom, had posted a picture of Chloe with another guy. Some ripped douchebag with a spray tan and a smirk. They're at a bar, arms around each other, looking cozy as hell. The caption, Chloe's moving on. So proud of my strong, independent daughter for knowing her worth. Knowing her worth, I almost choked on my own spit. This wasn't just a subtle dig anymore. This was a full-blown public execution. She was parading Chloe's infidelity around like some kind of feminist victory. And the comments section, a cesspool of hate. You dodged a bullet, Ethan. Chloe's too good for you anyway. He probably couldn't satisfy her in bed. My blood ran cold. My hands started shaking so violently I could barely hold my phone. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. This wasn't just about the open relationship anymore. This was about humiliation. Public humiliation, orchestrated by my soon-to-be mother-in-law. Something inside me snapped. It was like a switch flipped in my brain. The fear, the self-doubt, the desperation, it all vanished, replaced by a white-hot rage. I was done. Done being the nice guy, done trying to appease everyone. Done letting them walk all over me. I felt this surge of power, this sense of righteous anger that I'd never experienced before. My heart was pounding in my chest. My vision narrowed. I could feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. I was shaking, but not from fear, from anger, from power. I knew in that moment that I couldn't just walk away. I couldn't let them win. I had to fight back. I had to expose them for the lying, manipulative hypocrites they were. I grabbed my laptop, my hands still trembling, and started gathering evidence. Screenshots of Chloe's texts, emails, everything. I even found old photos of Chloe and me, happy photos that I could use to show the world that this wasn't some loveless, dying relationship. This was a betrayal. A calculated, malicious betrayal. I called Liam. I'm going nuclear, I said, my voice shaking with a mixture of anger and determination. I'm going to expose them for who they really are. He didn't try to talk me out of it. He just said, I'm with you, man, all the way. I knew this was going to be messy. I knew it would probably cost me everything, my reputation, my money, maybe even some of my friends. But I didn't care. I couldn't care. I was done being their victim. I was taking back control. I was going to fight fire with fire, and I wasn't going to stop until they were exposed. All right, Reddit, buckle up. This isn't some pathetic woe is me post anymore. This is a war plan. I'm done being the victim. Time to go nuclear. First, I needed hard evidence. Chloe's "it's not a big deal" bullshit wasn't going to fly. I went full digital forensic. Screenshots of every text, every email where she even hinted at wanting an open relationship. SAVED, printed multiple copies. I even recovered some deleted texts where she was talking about this new age relationship guru she'd been following. Bingo, this wasn't some spontaneous whim. This was premeditated. Next, I needed to combat the social media smear campaign. Patricia, the Instagram queen, thinks she can control the narrative. Think again? I dug up old photos of Chloe and me, happy, smiling, looking like the perfect couple. Proof that this wasn't some failing relationship she was escaping from. This was a straight-up betrayal. I also started documenting the harassment. Every nasty comment, every death threat, every photoshopped image of me as a caveman. Screenshots, all of it. Cyberbullying is a crime, and I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I even consulted a lawyer, just a preliminary conversation but enough to know my options. Legal action is on the table. They messed with the wrong guy. Then the strategic thinking began. A direct confrontation with Chloe and Patricia, pointless. They just gaslight me and twist everything around. I needed witnesses. Unbiased witnesses. So I called my parents, told them everything, showed them the evidence. They were shocked. My dad, who's usually quiet as a church mouse, actually swore. He was furious. Having them there would not only provide support but also prevent Patricia from spinning her web of lies. My support system, locked and loaded. Liam, my rock, is by my side. He's offered to be there during the confrontation to back me up, to make sure I don't lose my cool. He's even researching reputation management companies, just in case. Damage control is key. Finally, the mental preparation. This was the hardest part. I had to accept that this was going to be messy, painful, that I might lose friends, money, even some family, but I also had to remind myself why I was doing this. For my self-respect, for my future. I couldn't let them steal my happiness. I couldn't let them define me. I'm terrified, Reddit, absolutely terrified, but I'm also determined. This isn't just about a canceled wedding anymore. This is about taking back my life. This is about reclaiming my narrative. This is about showing them and the world that I won't be silenced. I won't be controlled. I won't be broken. I'm ready. The air in my parents' living room was thick with tension. It felt like the calm before a hurricane. Chloe and her parents sat stiffly on one side of the room, Patricia radiating an icy composure, her husband looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. My parents sat beside me, Dad surprisingly radiating a quiet strength, Mom nervously fiddling with her pearls. Liam sat next to me, a silent, reassuring presence. I took a deep breath, my heart hammering against my ribs. "I've called this meeting because I'm canceling the wedding," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. The words hung in the air, heavy and final. Chloe gasped, her eyes widening in mock surprise. "Ethan, what are you talking about? We can work this out." Her mother, Patricia, the Instagram queen, chimed in, her voice dripping with condescension. "Ethan, dear, don't be rash. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding. I repeated, a dry laugh escaping my lips. "You think wanting an open relationship 2 weeks before our wedding is a misunderstanding?" Chloe's father, who'd been silent until now, cleared his throat. "Now hold on, son. There are legal implications." "Legal implications?" I cut him off, my voice rising. "You're worried about legal implications. Let's talk about moral implications. Let's talk about decency." I reached into my briefcase and pulled out the printed screenshots. "Here," I said, sliding them across the coffee table towards them. "Read them, every single one, Chloe's texts, her emails, her exploring her options while I was busting my ass planning our future." Chloe's face paled as she glanced at the papers. Patricia's carefully constructed mask of composure began to crack. Her husband's jaw dropped. "These are private conversations," Chloe sputtered, her voice laced with panic. "Not anymore," I said, my voice cold. "They're evidence of your deceit, evidence of your betrayal." Patricia, recovering quickly, let out a theatrical sigh. "Ethan, you're twisting things. Chloe was just exploring her feelings. It's perfectly normal in this day and age." "Normal?" I scoffed. "To ask for an open relationship 2 weeks before your wedding. While publicly humiliating me on social media. While your followers send me death THRATS." I pointed at the second stack of printouts, the documented harassment. "This is what you call normal, Patricia. This is your idea of female empowerment." The color drained from Patricia's face. Her carefully curated image of a supportive, progressive mother was crumbling before her eyes. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. That's when my dad, my quiet, reserved dad, stood up. He looked directly at Chloe's parents, his voice low and steady. "We are done. You will not treat my son this way." The air in the room crackled with his unexpected forcefulness. It was the turning point. The moment the power shifted. Chloe looked from her speechless parents to me, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and regret. Too little, too late. "I'm not marrying you, Chloe," I said, my voice firm. "I'm not marrying into this toxic family. I deserve better. I deserve someone who respects me, who values me, who loves me for who I am. And you," I turned to Patricia, my voice dripping with contempt, "you can take your social media circus and shove it." I stood up, grabbed my briefcase and walked out, Liam right behind me. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I'd said my piece. I'd reclaimed my narrative. I was free. As we walked to the car, Liam clapped me on the back. "Dude," he said, grinning, "that was epic." I took a deep breath of the fresh air, the weight of the past few weeks lifting from my shoulders. It wasn't over, there would be fallout. But for the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of peace. A sense of victory. I'd finally stood up for myself, and it felt damn good. I was finally free. It's been 6 months since the nuclear meltdown that was my almost wedding. The dust has settled, the social media storm has mostly calmed down, and I'm finally starting to piece my life back together. It's been a roller coaster, Reddit, a real emotional shit show. Let me tell you, the aftermath was brutal. The initial fallout was exactly as messy as I expected. Chloe's mom, Patricia, went into overdrive on social media, spinning the narrative like a top. She painted me as a cold-hearted, commitment-phobic monster who abandoned her poor, innocent daughter at the altar. The flying monkeys, of course, ate it up. My social media was flooded with even more hate messages, accusations, and threats. It was relentless. I had to deactivate all my accounts just to get some breathing room. There were awkward conversations with mutual friends, most of whom seemed to have swallowed Patricia's version of events hook, line, and sinker. I lost a few friends in the process, people I thought actually cared about me. It stung, but honestly, good riddance. I learned who my real friends were pretty quickly. Liam, of course, stood by me like a rock. He helped me navigate the legal mess, deal with the online harassment, and just generally kept me sane. My parents, after their initial shock, were incredibly supportive. They apologized for ever doubting me and were furious at how Patricia had treated me. It was a huge relief to have their support. The legal stuff was a nightmare. Chloe's father, true to his word, threatened to sue me for the wedding costs. Luckily, I had kept meticulous records of everything, including Chloe's texts about the open relationship. My lawyer sent him a strongly worded letter outlining Chloe's breach of contract and the potential countersuit for defamation and harassment. They backed down pretty quickly after that. I still lost some money on deposits I couldn't get back, but it was a small price to pay for my freedom. It's been tough, no doubt. I moved out of the house we were supposed to share and into a small apartment. Starting over from scratch is daunting, especially after investing so much time and energy into building a life with someone who ultimately betrayed me. There are still days when I feel the sting of betrayal, the anger, the frustration. Chloe's ghost still lingers sometimes. But I'm getting better, slowly but surely. The biggest change has been internal. I've learned to prioritize my own needs and values. I've learned to trust my gut, to recognize red flags, and to walk away from toxic situations. I've also started therapy, which has been incredibly helpful in unpacking all the baggage from my family and my relationship with Chloe. I'm finally free from the weight of other people's expectations, and it feels amazing. I'm single now, and honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm focusing on myself, my career, my friends. I'm rebuilding my life, brick by brick, on my own terms. I'm cautious, yes, but I'm also hopeful. I know I deserve a healthy, loving, and committed relationship. And I know with absolute certainty that I won't settle for anything less. This whole experience has been a brutal lesson in self-respect, boundaries, and the importance of having a strong support system. It's been a long, painful journey, but I've emerged stronger, wiser, and more self-assured than ever before. So Reddit, has anyone else gone through something similar? How did you handle the fallout? Any advice for navigating the post-toxic relationship wasteland? I'd love to hear your stories and any words of wisdom you might have. This community has been a lifeline for me, and I'm grateful for all the support.